Alrighty. What do we have here? Well, I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now what we have here. We have a serious topic this evening. Just trying to get my little heads up display to be all nicely organized over here. Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay. There's that. Close that. Let's see. Is there anything else I need to see here? Nope, 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 nope. We will address some of those topics a little bit later. Just a little bit later. Well, I am going to make an attempt to invite two different people. We've had a couple of cancellations, so to speak. Okay. And with that being said, let's see. We've got an intense topic. Welcome, Gaucho Bear. Welcome. Glad you're here. So let me do some Latin translation for everybody. You may wonder why. You may not wonder why I would put my title of my video in Latin. Well, sometimes it's a good idea to shroud what's going on. An announcement: we just had the baby. Isaiah James' name. Prayers requested. Absolutely. Amen and congratulations. It's big news, Larry. Good stuff. That's a strong name, too. That's good stuff. I like that name. For those of you in D Live, I have not figured out how to do the restream bot where the comments are posted in D Live. So Larry King had a baby. Well, his wife had a baby, but you know. So that is some happy stuff. Babies being born. And on that note, let me tell you what Aboleo, Turpia, Scripta means. Oh, you can see it. I guess it allows you to see it and doesn't bother to show me the duplicated information. So that's good that you can see it. It's invisible to me. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, Aboleo, Turpia Scripta. Oh yeah, you see the text on the left. Total noob. What a noob thing to do. All right. Well, it's an intense topic, guys. It's very intense. So I'm going to put the bear. I'm going to put the bear. Just give me a moment. And we are going to make some invitations. Do that one. And I'm also going to invite somebody else. Give me a moment. Just a moment. just a moment. I'm just kidding. Um, all right, those are the invitations. And if anybody throughout the evening would like to chime in, cold as ice. What's going on? What's welcome? Well, you're welcome, cold as ice. All righty, let's make this happen. Preacher Bear. All right, so we are going to welcome everybody. Thanks for chiming in. It looks like we're up to about 12 folks. That's a quorum in my book. So, Aboleo, you saw the title, but I'm going to type it again. Turpia, Scripta. All right. And if you don't want to use Google Translate, that stands for abolish. Oh, you can't see me because there's a bear in front of my face. Aboleo is Latin for abolish. Turpia scripta is one way of saying pornography in Latin. Oh, why would I put my title of my video in Latin? Because I just didn't want to have such a disgusting word. I'm getting grabbled on YouTube. Interesting. Yeah, not surprising. I didn't want such a disgusting, vile, abominable title associated with any of my channels. So I obscured it with Latin. And I also figured that there was probably going to be some potential issues. I didn't want it to just be, I didn't want to be scrubbed off the face of the internet, just because of trying to do a good thing, talk about a good topic. If the case, yeah, anyway. Check. Not checkmate, but check as in CZECH, just in case anybody wondered. Pilsner Urquell from Czechoslovakia, which I guess doesn't exist anymore. I apologize for my extremely old people thing to say. What I meant to say was Czech Republic. I apologize to the people of Slovakia. I do remember that there was a thing that happened probably more than 20 years now. The essence, Ian, but yeah, maybe. The real F word is fornication, but whatever. Um, Fighting Bear, welcome. Well, thank you, Fighting Bear. I appreciate that. No, it's just something that I'm pretty passionate about. I invited two people. You can see the invite people thing there. Um, and as we dive into this topic tonight, um, it helps to bounce ideas off of somebody else. But I've been known to give a monologue or two. I have been known to do such things. But here's the topic. We're going to look at some of God's law. And we're going to do some thought experiments tonight. And I'm going to help folks understand to avoid fear mongering, to avoid slippery slope fallacies, and love, to actually love the law of God and proclaim the law of God as an ideal, devoid of fear and God forbid, devoid of self-interest. Because possibly one of the most disgusting possibilities for those who defend anything in regards to sin being unpunished. Now, don't get me wrong. Justice is mine, says the Yahweh, the God, the Lord, the King of Kings, creator of all things. Justice is his. Okay. I get that 100%. However, it is clear, and I will see what I can do to help bring further clarity to the fact that God's law is good on a functional level for the world because God is good and because his righteousness is good. It is functionally good for our society. I'm also going to do my best to tear down some of the presuppositions that people have um, about what kind of country we live in. And everybody can hear me. You would have said something by now, right? Yeah, I see my mic. I figure. Just want to make sure everything's in order because I'm actually systematically going through um, the aspects of what I want to cover tonight, and I appreciate and hope to have engagement in the chat. I assume that there will be some pushback. Potentially, we might encounter some trolls. I don't know. Um, I don't know. Um, so, is Owen banned? I banned from what? Love Light My Way. If you're referring to, did he get kicked off of Instagram? Um, oh, for some reason I didn't see. Yeah, he's not banned from D Live. He streamed today. So um, Facebook, Twitter, yeah, kind of. But Coddington runs his Twitter. I talked to Coddington through the. If you guys ever see my Twitter and see me commenting to, it's because I know that Coddington is reading the messages, and I'm banned from the CBC. I don't know what CBC is, but Canadian Broadcasting. I don't know what CBC is. Cold as ice. Um, yeah, Instagram. But yeah, I try and talk to Coddington from time to time. And Coddington, I told him how thankful I am because he's given me shout outs on Twitter, which I'm uh, I have the tiniest footprint possible on YouTube and D Live, so not proverbially anyway. It's whatever. Sometimes I'm slightly hyperbolic. I'll try not to. Um, try not to be hyperbolic. Let's see, just making sure. I know, but
It
what about here?
works. Hi,
What?
everybody. What's going on?
What?
I was just going to
What?
take some piano requests. See if this is even
So in the
on.
middle of my stream here, I have Owen's thing pulled up, and apparently Owen is live. So, um, sorry about that. So yeah, I guess most of you are gonna go to Owen's channel. It's all good. It's starting to feel providential. But you know what? I'm going to persist. I'm going to, yeah, welcome, disciple, disciple bear, disciple of Jesus, I'm sure. All right, so it it starts to feel a little weird when you invite people and people have stuff going on. It's fine. It's fine. It's this is not a complaint whatsoever. But just I think about it in terms of statistics, in terms of providence, and then Owen randomly comes on after streaming today on a Friday and decides to stream twice in the same day. Must be really enjoying D Live. Um, but anyway, my topic is the abolition of several things, but primarily tonight I wanted to talk about the abolition of pornography. So, if anybody has any particular questions or challenges to that concept, feel free to let them loose in the chat. Um, yeah, I got you, Fighting Bear. So, I'm trying to think about how to get this topic started. I know exactly how to get this topic started. The best way to start anything, and that would be with the Bible. So, let's go there. Pull it up, and we are going to super bright. If you see my eyes adjusting, his pupils are dilating or reverse dilating. I don't know. Oh no. How dare you talk about pupils? I'm an ophthalmologist. How dare you? I don't know why that would be offensive to an ophthalmologist, but stuff happens. We're going to go to Exodus and we're going to look for something. Let's see here. Ugh. Ugh. All right. You shall not. Okay. So I'm just scrolling through here. It's interesting to look at the times that God says you shall not. I'm looking through the amplified, so um okay. Okay, so I guess 20 um right. I am the Lord your God who was brought here. We'll go over here. We'll go over here. You don't need to see my face, at least temporarily. All right. Then God spoke all these words. I'm the Lord your God who has brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me or besides me. You shall not make yourself any graven image to worship it, or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above. Interesting. Let that rest. Or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath. You shall not bow down yourself to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children of the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing mercy and steadfast love to 1,000 generations. That's a long time, by the way, of those who love me and keep my commandments. Isn't this word interesting? Think about it. It is important and it is interesting. I see that there's chat kind of blocking, but it's all good. We'll survive the messiness. Oh, here, I'll do this. Whoops. There we go. Sorry. I have settings for this. I've actually thought ahead. It's all good. It's all good. All right, let's get back to this. And keep my commandments. You shall not use or repeat the name of the Lord your God in vain, that is lightly or frivolously, in false affirmations or profanely, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Earnestly remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, withdrawn from common employment and dedicated to God. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. In it you shall not do any work, you or your son, your daughter, your manservant, your maidservant, your domestic animals, or the sojourner within your gates. In other words, no loopholes. Pretty plain. For in the 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth and the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. That is why the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it, set it apart for his purposes. Regard and treat and honor and do obedience and courtesy your father and mother, that your days may be long in the land the Lord your God gives you. You shall not commit murder. You shall not commit adultery. Okay. Right next to each other. Is this a hierarchical uh, order of magnitude and or importance? Well, it starts with having no other gods besides the God. And then it goes on to not even making images of anything that you think could be a god. So don't use created things to represent the creator is the gist, okay? So then it goes on to say about his name. And then it goes on to talk about his day, okay? And then it talks about the mother and the father and how you should treat them, and it provides a promise associated with that. And then it talks about murder. So if you ask me, I would say yes. This actually is ordered in an order of magnitude. Okay? You shall not commit murder. You shall not commit adultery. I have a video not too long ago where I discuss emphatically that participation in pornography, whether you are the actor or the watcher or the producer, you are committing adultery if you are the participant on either side of the screen. And I guess as far as the producer goes, you're probably committing adultery and a couple of other sins in addition to that. Um, so then it goes on to stealing, and then it goes on to witnessing or false witness when you call somebody something that they really aren't, or you accuse somebody of a crime that they did not commit is really the intent here. It's not like calling somebody um, retarded, but they're actually not retarded. It's more about accusation in a legal sense that would result in a punishment. Um, that's the context for this. there's also a verse later in the New Testament that specifically forbids you from calling somebody a retard. Um, there's context there, and I can address that if anybody has questions. But um, I still call people retarded sometimes, but it's a little bit different. But I am apprehensive, reluctant, I should say, to do so because of that verse. And then you shall not covet your neighbor's house or your neighbor's wife or his slaves or his animals, right? Anything that is your neighbor's. And then that's where this ends. Okay, it puts them all together, so on and so on. Okay, so there's another section. I'm not going to look it up right this second, but there's another section, obviously, that talks about. It's a different list. It provides, I think, one other one, or maybe two other ones. Um, but anyway, where are we at in the chat? We went from 12 to 5. You guys are dedicated to deep study, and 7 people bearing false witness. I like a disciple bear. Uh, the 7 people just wanted to go hear music from Owen because this is an intense topic, and I completely understand. Um, let's see, we'll do this. It's tough. It's a tough topic. Hi, Jeremy. I didn't know that you were here. Um, okay, Fighting Bear. I got you. Um, let's see here. When there's something like 1,000 generations, do you assume hyperbole in that context? Well, this was this was in the time of Moses, and typical biblical reference point for generation is 40. So so it would almost appear that it was a prediction that there would be 40,000 more years. Would I assume hyperbole? No, I would suspect, not to be overly semantic with stuff, but I would phrase that as, yeah, I would suspect hyperbole. I believe that hyperbole is used. I don't just believe it; it's clear in the language. But yeah, in that case, it's very likely hyperbole. It's a great question, Disciple Bear. Just checking back in these comments. Time to laugh. A time to feel studious. Yeah, it's good stuff. Um, sounds like he is doing music stream. No reason not to have both. Yeah, good point, Ian. Um, disinterest in me. Yeah, I got you. Bible verse to start off. Exodus 20 is what I read from. Um, play with the kids, man. It's very important. All right. So here's my point, and Jeremy, if you are still here and you're interested in joining the conversation, I'd love some support to bounce ideas. I know that your libertarian slanting is probably a good abrasion on this topic, because I'm looking at things in a very principled way, and I do try to be pragmatic at the same time. But anyway, fool murdering their character. I don't quite know what that's in regards to 77 times 7 when Peter. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's a narrative tool, like a teaching, like a mnemonic or whatever, but not a mnemonic, obviously. But 77 times 7 is something that would be able. I know it rolls off our tongue in English, but it would have sounded different in the original language. Um, it's a teaching tool. It's meant to be helpful to remember. And yeah, I agree that that would definitely be hyperbolic, but that doesn't mean in the negative or in the limiting factor, but rather in the unlimited factor, because 77 times 7 is a big number and it's meant to be hyperbolic, but not limiting. Um, Raka, yeah. Don't call, yes, disciple bear. Yeah, murdering their character. Yes, it's not the same. It's more like it's almost in the realm of don't straw man. It's almost a warning against straw manning people, or ad hom, or a blend between the two. Ad hom, maybe it's against ad hominem, where Jesus elevates the standard of what constitutes murder. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for added context there. That's helpful for the folks in the chat. All right, so we have order, and I'm going to start off with the fact that no, we don't live in a world that has laws against worshiping any other god. No, we don't live, and I know I say world, and I probably should only speak in context of America, but I am planning on bringing up a couple of other countries in regards to this conversation because it's important. So, yeah, Disciple Bear, see you later. All right. Um, so you've got making idols. No, there's not a law in America against making graven idols. As I was discussing this with my wonderful wife, I immediately thought of a specific group of people that happen to live, uh, in a sandy region of the world. And if you make a graven image of their god, you are probably going to be killed. So it's not foreign to this earth that we live on for there to be a law against that, right? And then historically, there were laws against disobedience to parents up until death, biblically. Um, was that a good thing? Do we want to bring that back? Um, that's not what I'm here to talk about tonight. Um, I do say because I'm trying to work through. I don't want to miss anything. I think I skipped one. Graven images and then taking the Lord's name in vain. There were blasphemy laws. I don't actually know the current state of the blasphemy laws at this point in time in America. As much blasphemy as takes place even in mainstream media, if if you just take that alone. But if you include Hollywood, if you include social media, blasphemy is profound and prolific. So I yeah. hmm So it's more illegal to say that how dare you guy in that GIF or GIF if you choose to say so. It's more illegal to say something about that guy, which I, you know, I'm pretty sure is a guy, but let's say he doesn't identify as a guy. He just he identifies as a bluish green haired dragon female um, from Dungeons and Dragons or something. I don't know. But let's say that's how he identifies and I call him a dude. It's more illegal in the country that we live in. Um, it's more illegal to say that than anything against God. So this is not a conversation about the effectiveness of the law. This is simply a matter of principle. Okay? And I'll do my best to address all the topics. And I wish that there were some people here that disagreed because, you know, but maybe it's good. Maybe perfect timing. Maybe I'll be able to get all these thoughts out, and then opposition will come my way. It's all good. The timing of Owen. It's just a little profound. I don't know. Probably completely non-coincidental. So, where were we? Murder. So this is very important. Murder. Uh, if anybody can find me a good example of legal murder, human, um, first degree murder, not legally allowed um, in this world, that'd be an interesting case study. Figure out how and why that's part of their or not part of their law. If anybody has an example of that, then go ahead. But by sheer number, there's definitely murder. Just a duh, right? There's murder all the time. Would removing murder from the law, um, would that allow for, would that result in more murder or less murder? It's kind of, some people may think that is an absurd question. But if you think it's kind of like the gun uh, debate conversation. Um, Let me see if I can clarify. So if everybody had a gun, very few people would use guns because they knew that everybody was already armed. So it would always put their life in danger in order to engage. It would be like an act of war, or so on and so on, if everybody had a gun, right? This is how that thought experiment typically goes. It's part of the reason that places like Switzerland, there's not a lot of gun crime because, so far as I understand from a friend that lives in Switzerland, um, everyone owns a gun. Everyone is provided training. It's a complete level playing ground. So there you go. I was watching the Christmas thing. Well, yes, Bigby, that is correct. I really appreciate your you actually use that word in a way that I appreciate. It's very, I how I'm like typically pretty critical against cuss words and stuff. When somebody uses it, um, I don't know, something about that. It's kind of interesting. It doesn't. It just seems grammatically and semantically correct. So, um, all right. I'm getting all kinds of comments. I've been invited to a WhatsApp group that apparently is super active. Lots of cool people in there. Um, so, Bigby, that question was brought up yesterday on another Bears or whatever he is. I don't know. His name is Semper Bear. Um, we're human beings, so it's silly to call everybody a bear, but because it's like calling everybody a friend when you don't know them. And that's what I mean by calling somebody a bear that you don't know. Bear is a title that, like friend, requires an earning of trust. And just because you want to call yourself something doesn't necessarily mean, just like when people call themselves Christians, it does not automatically mean that you are what you say you are. So that's, I mean, I just have never had a face to face internet. I've actually never talked to him. I've only um, had comments back and forth through Twitter and email. we've done very little communication and comments during his stream, and then everybody attacked me last night because I said abolish pornography and other things like abortion and no, that's fine. Mr. Goodbear's dead. I got it. That's fine. Um, that's fine. All right. So, um, I think that that's retarded. Um, just to put it bluntly. Uh, not the Rakah, Bible verse that we were talking about earlier, but I really think that anybody that does something like that, records themselves. Um, I don't endorse those type of perversions because it goes into the realm of um, the depersonalization aspects of it, the dehumanizing aspects of it, and and trying to think of a good analogy. So we're going to take this like Bible, like a Sunday school level, like little kids church level of an analogy. Okay, so there are several people in the Bible that celebrated God, communed with Him, were called friends of God, right? Enoch, David, just people that were really had it going on. They got it. They totally got it. And they had faith and they walked with God. And some of those people, in addition to all of that, celebrated God in such a whole body, just complete, awesome kind of way. Whether or not it's running around naked or singing songs, there was great worship taking place. This is this. I'm giving myself a B minus on this analogy, um, but imagine crediting yourself. Imagine crediting yourself with the joy and jubilation that one of those people had in reality, saying, "Look at that! Look at that joy they had for God. That's so great." All right, I'm done. All righty, but it has to do with relationship, and when you it's a bad analogy. It's not perfect, but it on the cuff, um, that's what I'm thinking about. That's not the point or the purpose or the intention of what God designed between a man and a woman that are married. So I think that if somebody tries to film themselves, they should bear. Yeah, narcissism is an excellent. It is narcissistic. It's twisted. It's disgusting, and I think it's clearly retarded. Um, hello, Helio. What's up, man? Um, hey, plus on the beard. Thanks. Um, what did Ian say? Oh, hi, Ian. That's awesome, Ian. What did Ian say? What did I miss? What did Ian say? It's so weird because what's happening right now is I see a ton of comments from YouTube, but because Owen is on, that's funny. Owen is on D Live, and I only have 2 D Live viewers, and I have 6 YouTube viewers. Okay. Ian Pig blocked me, maybe saves me a step, lol. I don't see that anybody's blocked. I don't understand. So I'm all confused. I'm very glad to hear that Ian's mom got a job, though. That's excellent. Um, I just don't see the comment. It's somehow I missed it. It's so weird. I just completely missed it. All right. I was just addressing the comment of what if it's your own material, so to speak. You have, in my opinion, um, violated, um, more clearly, you have perverted a thing that God intended to be part of relationship, and you are violating and perverting that relationship into something of a version of self worship. Um, I don't see it either, which made me think he blocked me. um, I don't have anybody blocked though. If I had you blocked, nobody would see. Oh, I'm fighting a sneeze. Okay. Ian commented right after my hello. What, like a long time ago? Let's see. Intoxicating. Hello. Hey, Jeremy. Jeremy, my mom got a. Oh, it was just a long time ago. Thank you for all your thoughts and prayers. Oh my goodness, that was a long time ago. Okay, so there was just a bunch of. I just don't understand why. So that's the sort of language that I'm not interested in having. Um, any part of my streams. Just so you know, Bigby. I think that that word is again right in line with what I'm talking about. I think that that word is a perversion of something that God has made that has purpose. And anytime that we downgrade, pervert, or or rub dirt on the things that God has made, it just it's a shame. I really don't like it. There are certain words that I believe are um, it's a good way to put it. Just a smack in the creator's face. Anything that diminishes the beauty and awesomeness of God's creation. Um, something that, and it doesn't just have to be body parts. It can be behaviors, actions. There are several different choice words that should also be
Behaviors,
abolished,
action.
in my opinion. So very frustrating. I do censor, and I do it. I do my censoring on purpose because I value God's creation. More so, I value God, the Creator, and His holiness, His worthiness to not be maligned or misrepresented. I'm really annoyed and disgusted by certain words, and I don't like them. I think that there are certain words that are non-beneficial and, in fact, contrary to our Creator. So I will censor, and that is kind of what this topic is about. All right, so we're going to move on to the murder thing again, get back onto the murder topic, and then we'll move on to the obvious next law in line, which was adultery. I'm also very frustrated at the fact that I create filters and they are non-functional. So that is obviously a function or lack thereof of my ignorance. Um, I guess it'd be a function of my ignorance that I just don't know how to make basic chat filters work. Um, but this is an old topic, just keeps on coming back. It's not one that I'm going to move from because I wholeheartedly believe it's a righteous stance. And there are people that oppose me on that topic. But anyway, we will move on. It's too easy. Yeah, with alternative characters and that nonsense, I get it. Um, but I will move on. Murder. So I briefly touched on this, and I was saying that I think that it can be reasonable to claim that the illegality of murder is more beneficial to society according to God and according to just basic logic. Okay. Um, yeah, go to a locker room to talk with people that have no concern for those things if that's how you want to talk. That's my stance on it. I also consider that it would be valuable to pray about such things. Some people have no conviction on the matter. I'm not here to question your quality of convictions or anything like that. I'm just here to tell you what I think of it and that it's abhorrent to me and I don't want it. Part of the reason that I never joined Instagram or Snapchat, um, I have avoided Twitter in a lot of ways. I've avoided Minds in a lot of ways because there are certain things that I do not want to be part of my life. Okay. Hi, Fighting Bear. Welcome back. Um, so I have quote unquote abolished and prohibited certain things from my life, and joyfully so, I might add. It is far more beneficial. Uh, First of all, murder is against the law of God. Okay. Second, I don't think there's much else you need to say. I've been fighting this sneeze. I tell you what. Here, let's go over here. Is that going to help? Here, we'll try this one. Another cup. That one kind of helped. Okay. Yes, I have three beverages. Okay. Now we'll move on to adultery. And this is back more more so on the topic, just for kicks and giggles, though. Just for kicks and giggles, because I want to give my brain just a second to calibrate in on the topic, and we'll see what's happening.
My trouble. Nobody knows about my trouble. Except for my baby and me.
3100 at
The
night.
Truman Show theme? What is that? I gotta hear it. 1 second.
It's actually a good song. That was a good recommendation. Whoever said that. I could just have this on
My
low.
baby, she come for me. Now I'm living the good life. Truman Show.
Leave this on 5%.
Away from.
I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous. But yeah, that was a good recommendation. Whoever did that. I just wanted to see what Owen was up to. See, even I'm leaving my own stream. It's pathetic. I actually just was curious about the number of people watching. Okay. So, Tower Bear, welcome. Unfamiliar with your it doesn't feel good to say those words. I believe it detracts from the message. Okay. I don't know if you're Tower Bear. I don't know if you're referring to the different cuss words that I was talking about. Sometimes swearing is funny. Also, if you work in construction long enough, swearing becomes normal language. I I heard the F word since birth. Okay, this has nothing to do with virgin ears. This has to do with a moral conviction. So uh, it just that's what it is. I believe it's wrong. I have biblical reason to believe so and Holy Spirit conviction. So it's between me and God. When I'm here in my house, I will have things my way. You do things your way in your house. Interesting question. Let me get onto that after I destroy and abolish pornography from all of your minds. Fighting Bear, probably not. We should switch the topic to cursing. Yeah, Ian Bearpig, it would appear, and this is the part that I think is really funny. I think that there is a lot of energy and a lot of fight against getting rid of pornography. Okay. And that is part, I get it. I, I heard every cuss word before I was even born and after I was born, every year, every day. It, it's a stupid topic. This other topic that I purposed for this evening, however, I'm not going to shy away from, and I won't be sidetracked. Maybe temporarily, of course, because I do want to, you know, answer questions and talk to the folks in the chat, but I'm just telling you, I'm getting there. No, no, I disagree. All right, there's no dead horse because there are people fighting to keep pornography legal. I believe that we should abolish abortion. I believe that we should abolish murder, which is abortion is what I'm referring to. I believe that we should abolish pedophilia. How do you do that? It's a good question. I especially believe, and I tweeted the president, you know, he gets like each tweet he does, he gets like 10,000 comments, so he'll never read it. But I said I was praying for him to put more pedophiles behind bars than any other president ever, and that I was praying that he put more pedovores underground than anybody ever. So that's my prayer. And I believe that anybody that is a pedovore should definitely be put underground, whether by and through the justice system or otherwise. So, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of, thank you, Fighting Bear, for saying that. That might be taken out of context if it's not clearly communicated, but on what most of us know are prepositions. Anyway, I don't think that I have to spend too much time helping folks understand that engagement in pornography on either side of the screen is adultery, is a form of fornication. I could get a little bit more specific and philosophical if necessary uh, to help people understand that point. But as long as that is clearly understood by everybody, I will move on to the fact that um, the damage that is done intrapsychically to the individual, physically, uh, physiologically, if you want to use that word, regarding the people that are doing it in a physical way on the other side of the screen, um, the source, so to speak. Um, there are all those sorts of aspects, right? And then to confound the whole thing, there are producers, there are entire production crew that are all complicit in the debauchery, complicit in sin, I should say, within and amidst the debauchery. That's a lot of people. Now, I'm sure the argument could be made that there's smaller production crews than other, like for a movie or a TV show. I wouldn't know. You said retarded more times tonight. I know. I know. That's because I see a lot of foolishness on this topic, and I think that there are people gaining the legality of pornography. That to me is disgusting, uh, a little psychopathic, more than likely a certain level of self interest, and destroy Aboleo. You can look it up. I would love to address your question, Ian, but it is a distraction from the topic. It is a good question, and I can answer it, and I have a great answer for it. But again, it is not the topic at hand. Let's see here. I don't care about audience. One of three people here. I see eight. Yeah, four and four, or whatever. It doesn't matter. This is a topic that I wanted to talk about. Okay. The claim was made that by making pornography illegal, it would result in laws made against Christianity, laws made against guns, and all sorts of other stripping of freedoms, so as to say that pornography is the expression of freedom. which is literally a satanic thing to think. Well, the fact that we can have such a debased abomination to the Lord in this country, the fact that that can be a thing, it just points to our level of freedom that we have in America to do things. You see, this is the argument that's being made. This is my point. The argument that's being made is the presence of this abomination and its lack of e- illegality, the lack thereof, is an expression or an indication of what little freedom we have left as a country. If that's not the most satanic, Luciferian, psychotic thing you have ever heard, if that's not one of those things, I am confused at your life experience, or you're just young, because that can be a thing too. I'm not trying to get into fancy words, okay? I'm not. But the whole slippery slope thing, that if you give a mouse a cookie, is it not quite obvious? Is it not quite obvious that that's exactly what the enemy would want? Agreed, Robert Pearson. 100%. Um, it is silly to think that we live. Ian Bearpig has been in the saloon for like 8 months, maybe 10. Okay. He's been here for at least it feels that way, pretty long time. Um, I think that just sometimes he gets a little tipsy, metaphorically speaking. I don't know, man. But every now and then Ian says some stuff that I'm like, what? Um, the banter. Oh boy. Hey, Robert, most of the chat is over at D Live if you want to join us there. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Um, oh, and I did disable the. Apparently, Bigby got annoyed that I criticized his language. Um, exactly. Exactly. I'm drinking Czech Republic brew, taking jabs. I got you, bro. Everything is fine. It's one of my old phrases. It's fine. Everything is fine. It's all fine. Everything is great. It's fine. Because I used to spiral a little bit on those driving streams. Those were the days when I was commuting 70 minutes a day, which is pales in comparison to certain people that apparently commute 2.5 hours a day. It's pretty intense. Anyway, let's get back to the sub. Checked. Do I really need to explain that society would be better? I'm not I'm not naive that people wouldn't find a way. They always have, okay? They always have. And I'm not even suggesting that I think that it could or would happen. I'm just talking about ideals and what should be. In the meantime, you can do this in your own life. In the meantime, you can abolish it in your own life. Welcome, Robert. Welcome. Trying to see if there was any other questions. All right, so Jeremy asked a question earlier. Um, I don't have any opposition here, apparently, which I actually was hoping for, and I believe would have happened had the famous man himself
From all of your bad advice.
not been doing
Yeah.
this right
One
here.
day I was gonna tell the Bears when to be violent and how like Hitler was the man and stuff like that. The only
Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's chatting to 3,200 people, and it's kind of funny. It is kind of funny. All right. So we'll move on to some other stuff, though. Uh, so I did go to Carm, and I'll share these. We'll go through this. We'll do this. We'll do this. Okay. Go to Carm, and I will go here. And I think Carm is another one of these that doesn't. It doesn't like. I think that's big enough, though. Yeah, it's big enough. Okay. Scroll downy down. Are now promoted in mainstream culture as being normal, paradigm shift, blah, 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 blah. Non-heterosexual marriage, blah, 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 blah. There are an estimated 4.2 million. Well, isn't this an interesting number? 420, 420. Not at all. Oh, and then there's this number. Isn't that interesting? Huh. Almost like this was written by a troll, but we'll move on. Look at that. Is it prolific? Yes, it is. How about this? Yeah. Now, is that a tiny amount compared to that? Sure. Is anything more than zero too much? Yes. Yes, it is. Excuse me. Cable and satellite. Yep. In the church. The question of whether or not it's a problem shouldn't be really in question, but just in case, it's obviously a problem. And then I really don't think that there's any more. A million a year. I I don't really think I need to go too much further on that. Simper's points are lousy. He feels like generic brand Crowder. It's pretty good actually. Um, what generic brand? The way he wouldn't say Nate's name or the 88.8, the sleuth. I don't know what 88.8 means, but I got you. And I didn't ask for that. That isn't the argument. That's not even the argument. The argument was from a point of perspective of the law. That was what the argument was about. It wasn't about advocating. Nobody was advocating for it. That's not the point. The point is the difference between living in a world or a country where it's illegal versus living in a country where it's not illegal. I am declaring that it is 100% better, always going to be better to be in a society where it is illegal. I'm not saying it won't happen, but it's it's better. It is better for it to not be in the streets. Okay. Hey, Cold as Ice Bear, welcome back. Um, I don't know what audience he is going for. I've supported his streams and he blew me off a couple of times. So I know, I know. Dumb children and boomers. He talked about voting like it let us choose our leaders. Yeah, I know. Lots of blue pill situation going on there. Um, I don't think you're wrong, Fighting Bear. Um, and taxes, back to the roads. It always goes back to the roads. It's always about the roads that never build themselves. I was trying to think if I ever built a road. You would know it if you built a road. I've made paths. I've carved landscaping, carved the dirt out to put landscaping paving stones. I've done that sort of thing. I mean, government didn't pay me to do that. Anyway, all roads lead to Rome. Semper wants to be a live stream youth pastor, but his approach is cringeworthy. And I rarely use that word. I know. Now that's a word that I don't like. Cringe. It's a terrible word. All right. So let's do this. Let's do this. And that is where we are at for now. All righty. All right. So by popular request, we'll talk about abolishing other things. You want me to talk about abolishing? Um, you want me to talk about abolishing certain cuss words? We consider that. I don't think that that's the right move because it see to me, I don't think that certain words should be illegal. Now I still support the provocation of violence that's part of the law. I'm for that, and I'll explain how certain things actually fit into that. Um, but to me, certain curse words being illegal would be the same as making lies illegal, which aren't illegal except when you're in the court of law, which is interesting. Um, but what is the argument for banning swearing when you have the power to? I I allege that I guess I have abolished penguins. Okay, then we can finally go to yeah. The penguins are stopping us from going to Antarctica. That's the case. That's what's going on. Um, that'd be a funny conspiracy theory. Okay, so I definitely don't think that certain words should be illegal. However, I would expand the definition of provocation of violence. I would remove hate speech, and I would say that certain things probably qualify as provocation of violence. But I think that the hate speech rules based on certain categories that don't even exist in reality, such as gender identity, is not a real thing. It's not got any physical identity. Is not something that is uh, yeah, it's just not a thing. It's not a real thing. It's not something you can see, touch, feel, test, whatever. Anyway, would your mama joke qualify for the incitement of violence? Not usually. Ian Bear Pig. Jeremy asked a question, and I don't know if Jeremy's still here. Did I answer Jeremy's question? I feel like I did not. Trying to go back. Oh yeah. That was a good question. What are the thoughts? What are your thoughts on hating a man being equivalent to murder? Uh, I always like to define the term, so we have to first understand what it means to hate. Um, under the way that God hated uh, Esau, um, would suggest. I wonder how long. Let's see what time it is. It doesn't matter because it's 6:54 in Washington, so he could stream for another 3 hours and it'd be fine. Um, where was I at? Okay, hate literally meant to ignore, to neglect, to avoid, to count as to disregard, and that is one of the reasons why neglect is the worst form of abuse in regards to parents. When a parent is neglecting their child, actually neglecting them, um, it's actually worse than physical abuse. Laws aren't a government's power. They are an opinion about how they will use the power they have. Okay. Yeah, they don't exist if they're not enforced. It's an illusion, but tell me this. Does an empty cop car? Thanks, Big B. I appreciate you. One last like? I don't know what that means. Like you're I don't know what that means, Bigby. I don't understand the last best wishes. Alrighty. Kind of cryptic. What was I gonna say? There's always a but. Um, oh boy. Okay. Man, I had a good point. Okay, I mentioned it. I lost track. The comment threw me off. Empty cop car on the side of the road. Do people slow down? Why do they slow down? Because they think that they might get caught. Even when they already know that it is an empty cop car, they still slow down. Oh, that's a terrible. No, it isn't. No, it's a perfect example. I mean, perfect. I mean, who do you think you are? How dare you call call your example perfect? I mean, who do you think you are? The presence of a law is a limiting factor on the proliferating. People know that it's technically illegal to jaywalk. They also know that you almost never get in trouble for it. They know you can, and the vast majority of people try to find a crosswalk. Some people elect to disregard when they find it not just inconvenient, but that they could probably get away with it, or that it might not be the kind of situation where they would even get prosecuted because it would just be like silly. Like let's say three in the morning in a middle-sized town, no cars on the road, and you're walking not through a crosswalk. Just for instance. The fact of the matter is, the knowledge that there is a chance in and of itself is a form of aversion. Are there more effective ways? Sure. If every time that somebody did a thing, and we'll pick the more extreme, we'll go to an extreme. We'll refer to the pedophores. Okay. Oh, gosh. I think somebody is denouncing me. Oh, the poor fella. The guy thinks, okay, I see what's going on. Crisis, crisis of faith, and or crisis of realization about the nature of our world. It's a tough thing to go through. I'll tell you what. Um, I slow down because in Oregon it is the law to slow down. Ha ha ha. And the law is enforced heavily because it is a fairly new law. Virginia is a state that people that have traveled from New York to Florida, New York to Florida, New York to Florida, New York to Florida, they treat Virginia a very special way because it has a reputation. And if they don't, they find out otherwise that they must obey the land of the law. And Virginia is a state that has a high reputation for consistent prosecution of speeders. Georgia, on the other hand, has a high reputation for the land of speed traps and tricksters, which is where I was raised, which is kind of funny. Um, because everybody poops everybody. Yes, everybody does poop. hmm Um, law of the land. Okay. So, I don't know. I think Ian Bear's West Coast. Pretty sure. I don't remember. Yeah, I thought he was West Coast. Okay, so I was going to use this example. If we put all identified and prosecuted pedovores and we decapitated them and stuck their head on a stake and put it in the streets, and that was the only person that you would find with the head on the stake in the streets of America, like, and let's say this happened like next week, just all of a sudden nationwide, this was a new thing. Sometimes you're going to find a head on a stake in the street of the downtown common area. Okay. And there's a sign, and people are walking by, they're grabbing their kids' eyes and they're like, oh. But then some people are like, oh my God, what? And they read the sign and they recognize that if you're a pedovore, you will have your head on a stake. How might people treat even lesser degrees, such as pedophilia? How might people treat it? Now, is that going to happen? Probably not. Not unless we can form a sovereign nation and institute some of these legendary laws. But what is going on with my thing? Okay. But I forgot how to read good. Gotcha. Um, no, that's probably not going to happen. And I'm just bringing up an example of an extreme form of aversion, right? Um, hello, nose job 110 bear. I do not recommend getting plastic surgery. Not a good thing. Um, however, for the sake of burn victims, I can understand. Um, I get it, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of plastic surgery. All right, Robert. Have a good night. Jeremy had asked a question, aka intoxicating masculinity. He's probably gone by now, but he had asked the question, "What are my thoughts on hating a man being equivalent to murder?" I don't really have many thoughts on the topic because I understand that sin starts in the heart, in the mind, and not by anything that anybody else can necessarily see. I don't have any. A dog bit off my nose when I was 16. Okay, but I get it. Hey, of course, I get it too. 110. I read people's names and I take guesses. I don't know why Fighting Bear has the number 7 necessarily, but it's all good. I don't need to know necessarily. But thank you for sharing. Um, okay. Like I was saying, sin starts in the heart, in the mind. So the question is, when there is hate, has there been a consequence to two people? Only one person has been damaged, so to speak. Only one person has been affected, at least at the start. And there's still chance for, um, I think that this is the point. Do your own research, do your own reading, try to seek the scripture and test it for yourself. But as far as I see it, it's a warning to take even the seeds of sin just as seriously as the sin themselves. Not that the seed is not also sin. I'm just saying take the initial sprouts of sin just as serious as the end result of sin. And they are counted against you in the same way. So you would need to repent from hatred if you understand what that means, um, just as much as you would need to, like just equally. You would need to be just as contrite. Look the word up, or I'll look it up for you. Um, maybe learn is it's a good way to put it. Um, we've been a little bit all over the place, nose job, because, and that's how you want to be identified. Even though I'm not into the whole, that's how I want to be identified. But yeah, um, it's kind of funny. Um, surgery for bird. It's just about it was just about nose jobs, and then nose job explained, and nose job has that as their screen name, so I was just responding. It's all good. Everything is fine. Thank you, Chevs or Chevs 710. Um, appreciate you fighting, all that good stuff. No, you know, blind people fall in love with each other, right? I mean, that's that's a really absurd argument for prostitution. And you should never advocate. You should never advocate for the legalization of any sin. I, I, and I say that emphatically, uh, unreservedly, I should say. Um, you should never advocate for the legalization, and not contrasting with that, but in addition to that, um, you shouldn't advocate for the proliferation of the legality of a sin. I think that I think that gay marriage, homosexual sodomy, all of it should be abolished. Um, it wasn't very effective. Thanks for the record there, Ian. I tell you what. All right. So this stream, I had hoped, um, would have some of the people. But here's the funny thing. Let me tell you a little bit more. Let me tell you a little bit more. I was on I was on Simper Bear's stream last night, and mysteriously this morning I had emails. I had a bunch of emails. Just trying to figure out what is going on. Um, I had a bunch of emails from a website Yeah. Someone mysteriously signed me up. I don't know if it was a person by the name of Boulder Vaughn. Let's see. Let's see here. There was one other person that I think could have been the one. Guys, I don't have a clue who this Boulder Vaughn person is. Um, but there was this other person that was defending Boulder Vaughn, and I cannot remember their name. But that being said, somebody tried to sabotage, a saboteur, you may say, thought that they would have a little fun trolling. There's a certain kind of evil. What happened? Did I mess up? Okay, let's see here. Boulder trolling me. I don't know if it's him. Yeah, I also know that he's tight with Pender. Hello, just bear things. I don't know if that means that you're here or you just hit follow, but if you're here, welcome. Um, I know that Steve Pender knows Boulder Vaughn, and obviously Semper Bear knows who that is. But I just thought that it was kind of interesting. Um, cool, just bear. I thought it was kind of interesting. Doesn't that point to the character of somebody that calls God a sodomite and uh, and then definitely is one of the two or three most likely people to try to retaliate against somebody that says that pornography should be illegal? What does that tell you about a person? At least one of those things is a fact, that Boulder Vaughn called God a sodomite. But that's going to be something he'll have to deal with. Um, but the other thing, I don't know who did that other thing that really wasn't funny. All I had to do was right click because I could just see the subject of where these emails were coming from, all 12 of them. I just right click, block, send to spam. It's pretty simple. Blocks the entire domain, but somehow got my email address that I've shared before, but that's what makes it a little suspicious that it'd be somebody that I don't have any history with. Never seen him in my chat ever. I don't know. It's interesting. An OG bear, huh? Like more than a year and a half ago. Because I got started in July of 2018, the end of July, the beginning of August, because I had just started a new job and um, I can't remember. I think it was either Crowder. It definitely wasn't Molyneux. I think it was Crowder. Some kind of recommendation. But anyway, yeah, builders roles are very advanced at times. I don't even know what that means. Um, from the Twitter days and then Variables chat app. Okay, I'm in that. Close to Pender. I don't know who Dom Tough is. Part of the Google Hangouts click. Oh, see, that's wow. I'm not even savvy enough to know about the Google Hangouts click. Because I formed my own with the Unbearables Bible Study group, which would be Breath of Fresh Bear and Intoxicating Masculinity and Nathaniel Slattery and Robert Pearson. We had some good times. We had a little bit of disagreements, but we all still keep in touch with each other, and we love each other in Christ. So, you can only hope that other people will have that as well. Um, but yeah, I actually just saw that the Unbearables app is still active, which really surprised me. The Unbearables forum specifically. I'm not sure if there's another app. Um, excuse me. 8 days ago is the most recent. And there's a, and then there was questions about Discord, Lily Gazoo Bear, Greek Bear, Trombone Bear, Sparky OG, which I think everybody knows Sparky. Um, yeah, I'm familiar with 4 different bear discords, and I removed myself from one of them because the things that they talked about just didn't seem very edifying, so to speak. So I kind of just ducked out of that. But yeah, Sparky's been in here. Does anybody have any questions? I wholeheartedly believe that pornography should be illegal, just to put it as plain as day. And I I believe that it would be a good and beneficial thing to our society. And I'm not afraid of any slippery slope fallacy or argument because I don't live in fear. And I understand that people would still sin. I just think that they need to be, what's the word? Shamed. But murders also need shamed. Deep Thinker Bear does Bible chats. Okay, I'm unfamiliar with that name, but if I can find him on D Live or on YouTube, be fine. My mentality has definitely shifted to the D Live because I don't know YouTube. If Davey 504 could switch over to D Live and what's the VLDL. See, I'm on a few, but hide these days due to old drama. Hence the unrecognizable name. Ah, so you might know me and I might know you. I see how it is. I think it would be hysterical if it was Hell Yeah Bear. I can't believe he said that. It's a name. It's a word. It's just a word. You see, it's not offensive to say that somebody is being retarded, because it describes what they're doing in correlation to what that word means, which is slow. Just the same as it would be to call someone a Gomorran or a sodomite if they're acting or being one. But if you call someone garbage, refuse, or even other words like um, like ejaculate or any other slang word associated with that, anything that actually so there was this old argument about and Owen, who was he talking with? The dehumanize, and he's like, of course I want to dehumanize. Um, Shaming and dehumanizing are two different things, and I still think that Owen meant shame, and I'm not trying to put words in his mouth or anything by any means, but I think it's more effective to shame somebody than to try to discredit God's creation. So, though one may be a pedophore, which in my opinion is the worst of the worst, I still pray for their redemption. It's the beauty of the gospel. To try to say that somebody's garbage, trash, a mistake, it justifies even greater evils than that person has committed. And that's what I'm not a big fan of. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see what's happening in the chat. You see, I don't like when words don't make sense. And I don't like to use words out of context like that. Um, so the whole thing with FN retarded is you're trying to form a superlative, a heightened level. Um, and that's where words like literal or actual or certified, certified retard. There's a lot, maybe not a million. I was about to say a million, but there are a lot of ways and adjectives that you can add um, before a word like retarded, if that's really what you're trying to communicate, and if it's accurate and true. I feel like I should just come here for the study. I care a little about beer drama. That's yeah. You can say that. It's fine. Um, we did the Bible study part earlier. Now we moved on to random talking about cussing. Certified, that is almost worse than. Do you get my point? Certified, it's more accurate. You got to be. I like to be creative with my language, and I'm all about hyperbole. I think hyperbole is fun. What I'm not about is taking something that God ordains as holy and sacred and degrading it into something that you could just use in vain. It's really the main thing. And no, I know that it's his name that you're not, you're supposed to not take in vain, but I think that there's wisdom to not use other things in vain. Um, so that's my point. All right, so let's share for kicks and giggles. I'm going to step away for a moment. Just a moment. Oh, yeah. Well, that's not what I expected to happen. Hmm. Give me just a moment. Give me just a moment. Wait, what is this? Oh, what is this? Oh, what is this?
The only time I've ever said like violence could happen, and I will let you guys know if we have to do that, is when people were literally attacking my mother. That's the only time. And so they take it
I'll
out of
be
context
back.
and they go, "Oh, look at him! Look at Owen
I
Benjamin!
will
He's,
be
he's
back.
calling for violence." I actively call for anti-violence. That's why I know these people know that, and I know they're just trying to drum up rage and resentment and action and all this stuff to the point where I'm like, how can he even exist? Like, think of like if a guy like that really exists under his real name. Think about how much heat like Vox Day get. Like Vox Day has a pen name, and it's like, and Vox is an incredibly good person, and he still was like, I'm probably going to use a pen name. Just a lot of people use pen names, and Vox is like a great person. Like he's a great father. He's a great guy. Jared Holt is such a bad person, and so many people hate him. Like tons. Jews hate him. Non-Jews hate him. Everybody hates him. How is that possible? Like, don't you just think that like someone invented Jared Holt? Like, how is that? It's like pen names. Like sometimes I don't think Adolfo Hitlerio was even real. I mean, or like I don't think. Okay, this is another thing. Oh, he doesn't think Elon Musk is real. I think it's an actor. I think Elon Musk is a construct. Unless you really think billionaires start flamethrower companies, a company to bore holes under LA and call it his boring company, and then he was gonna fly weed to the ISS. He owns SpaceX but can never build a rocket. It's like, I don't think he's real. You know,
Well, that was awkward. I get back and immediately it starts buffering. Alrighty. Ew. Alrighty. Alrighty. Well, I guess I need to wrap this up, guys. Sometimes you just gotta go do things. Alright. But now you are reminding me of a certain lobster. Yeah, and I never even watched that guy. I watched one video of Jordan Peterson one time. I was like, oh yeah, he's tearing that dude on stage apart. Just because you're good at verbal judo doesn't mean much of anything, though. Think about it. I think Robin Williams also said, so precise. Be precise with your words, and I think he was suicided. So he's probably pretty based. Drug addict, probably living a horrible life, a lot of guilt. Yeah, depression doesn't come from nowhere, but also depression isn't. Let's just say depression is two-sided. Um, yeah, I mean, none of us knew him, but yeah, it's a valid It's valid. Same thing with Chris Farley. You know, there's that whole situation with the life that he lived. He also had major depression. There was a lot of comedians that have struggled with depression, which is actually one of the things that sets Owen apart in a lot of ways. Um, his lack of depression. It, he's gone through tough times, but he's definitely um, never come across as one of those. Why does they have 4 people on YouTube and 4 people on D Live still? It doesn't seem accurate. Um, it is an experience we all have. You see 6 on D Live. I don't know what's going on. I do not know what's going on. Is everybody saying good night to me because I said I need to leave soon? I was hoping somebody convince me otherwise, but it's all good. But yeah, Tower Bear. Thanks for being here. I like it when there's folks um, with different backgrounds. It's kind of fun. Um, what is 88.8 radio that people are talking about in the chat? I don't understand. What is what is happening with that? I'm posting this link so his channel can be seen everywhere without getting banned again. Want to try and promote free speech? What in the world? 88.8 is Anchor Bear's station. Okay. So Anchor Bear is one of the people that Owen, which he's offline now apparently. Um, speed of sound. I Yeah, he's one of the 4 people that Owen is subscribed to. I thought it was kind of funny um, that Owen oftentimes will read my messages on stream. If you're paying attention, you'll see that he does read my messages, but we had a little bit of a situation between me and Vox a while back, and then um, Owen got mad at me, so to speak, for for trying to talk about Operation Baby Landlord and ending abortion and Unbearable's Bible study. And this was a long time ago. This was like back in March or April, probably March. And he was like, "Hey, I'm trying to do something here too, man." It was really funny. Not a big deal, obviously, but I just find it funny. He still continues to read my messages, and Coddington supports me, but I'm always like wondering, huh, huh, because back when what are those things called? The super chats were available and all that was going on. Um, I was trying to promote all of the unbearable Bible study guys. Intoxicating Masculinity, Breath of Fresh Bear, Robert Pearson, Nathaniel Slattery, and and my channel. And I 99.9% of the time put myself at the end on purpose. Save the best for last. Just kidding. No, he wasn't kidding at all. He meant that. He actually means that. he thinks he's the best. Actually, I totally don't. I actually really respect each one of those guys. They all bring something different to the table, and I'm thankful for all of them in different ways. But I am definitely thankful for all of them. And if you don't know who those guys are, um, intoxicating masculinity comes from a very strong uh, Protestant slash Presbyterian um, style of theology. Uh, he's also very libertarian in his politics, but he's just an all around great guy. Breath of Fresh Bear uh, has an extensive knowledge of history and of programming and some good stuff with biblical history and those sorts of things. And he can tie a lot of current events and things that are going on in the world together with biblical history. And that's a nice asset. He also is pretty good at the way that he makes his videos and the topics he brings up. And he's passionate about the original language and the feasts as they are prescribed in the Bible, as well as the Sabbath, which we should all observe. And then there's Robert Pearson, who has an extensive knowledge of the original languages. Um, you can find these guys on D Live and YouTube. Um, well, Breath of Fresh Bear is not really on D Live yet, but he will be. We probably all will be. But anyway, Robert Pearson, extensive knowledge of the languages, very, very much a critical thinker, very based, obviously, kind of goes without saying, but um, he's great with hermeneutics and he's great at providing different perspectives that, um, he doesn't keep his mouth shut. If he disagrees with you, he'll make it known. Um, very, very, very valuable asset to the team. Uh, and it's not my team, just in case anybody might think such a weird thing. Um, we're just guys that care about God, and we happen to be able to hang out from time to time, which is a lot of fun. All right, so then there is Nathaniel Slattery. Um, Robert is a legendary thinker. Absolutely, he is. He's a great guy. Um, and so is Nathaniel. Talk about him for a minute. Um, I've disagreed with him just like I disagree with Ian about language, but I have massive respect for Nathaniel. Um, and he's extremely, what's a word for it? He's a put your money where your mouth is kind of guy. Um, hey, this is good. Hey, this is good. Hey, this is good. Hey, this is what I want to do. Hey, this is what I do. This is what I want to do. And he just does it. Um, it's very admirable. Some good leadership qualities, obviously, even though he doesn't even desire that. He's he's growing into that. Um, and he's getting people to think critically about difficult topics. It's really good. So he also reads the Bible constantly, almost every day. Um, yeah, please ask question. Sorry. Revelation 4. So let me check this out. Um, It plays all the Bears music. Oh, that's cool. I'm guessing it's a YouTube channel, maybe. I'll have to check that out though. It's interesting. uh, Ian's a, or not Ian. Well, Ian, you might be a fighter too, but Nate's a fighter, and yeah, it's all good. It's a good thing. He fights for righteousness though, so um, to the best of his knowledge and ability, he fights for righteousness. Um, but yeah, in regards to Revelation 4, where is this? Just kidding. No, it is really bright. My face is glowing like Moses again. Um, whoa, how weird. I just didn't expect to see that word. Therefore, I counsel you to purchase from me gold refined and tested by fire, that you may be truly wealthy, and white clothes to clothe you, and to keep the shame of your nudity from being seen, and salve to put on your eyes, that you may see. We need some of that salve. I wonder. I wonder if that salve was gravy. I don't know, guys. Um, all right, fight it out there, guys. Just consider righteousness as you fight. Um, and edification. Don't let your fighting be in vain. Make sure that it's to edify one another. That's all I have to say about all that good stuff. You know what I mean. All right, nose job bear. Um, After this, I'll just read Revelation 4 just for kicks and giggles, and then we'll probably call it an evening. Let's see if we go on maybe 17 more minutes. It's all good. I mean, there's been nights on Friday nights where I go until 11, but um, my wife is actually home. She didn't go shopping this time, so I did this for you guys. It's a little anticlimactic, but I said what was needed. I just expected more opposition. It's all good. I'm just gonna keep on putting the truth in people's faces. I'm sick of the blue pills, guys. I'm really sick of people that are plugged into the matrix, metaphorically, just in case if there's any autistic people out there like myself. Um, I'm not actually autistic. I'm just, if there is a spectrum, I know I'm on it somewhere, not at zero. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say. It's probably just the nature of being an INTJ, if that is indeed what I am. I don't believe in that being the epitome or the pure essence of who I am. You know, my identity is not an INTJ. My personality most closely aligns with INTJ, but my identity is with Christ, and I am going to spend the rest of my existence, both dead and alive, both alive and alive, I should say, trying to figure out exactly what that means. Why is he squinting? Because this screen is so bright. It's all white. So bright. It's super bright. I need to move it over. Cover up my face. All right, there we go. Um, I don't even know what's happening. Move that out of the way. Blue pills are pretty homosexual. They're very Gamoran, I should say. All right, after this, I looked, and behold, a door. Oh, here, I'll clean it up for you. Sorry. A door standing open in heaven, and the first voice which I had heard addressing me like the calling of a war trumpet said, "Come up here, that will show you what must take place in the future." So, somebody today in the chat, in Owen's chat, said, "So maybe Revelation isn't about the future, huh?" Question mark. And I was like, "Hi, certifiable retard." No, I didn't say that at all. I'm pretty kind when people misunderstand the Bible. To start, I'm pretty kind. Um, Here, I'll scoot this out of the way. I'm pretty kind when people are not getting the Bible. So I'm like, listen, it's literally about the end times. It literally says it's not about the past. I just hate it when propagation of lies is taking place. It makes me nauseous. It literally says take place in the future. I mean, hermeneutics, guys, context. These things are very important. Um, all right, what's going on? Sorry, it was a lot in chat. Blah blah blah. Ha. But to fight for God, you also have to fight with soldiers He gives you to fight. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, Fighting Bear. It's not bad. Do what you want, Fighting Bear, but the way you said it made me think you might not. That's ridiculous. Straw manning, Ian. Time to head out. Have a good night. Glad to meet you. Absolutely, just Bear, even though you're probably gone by now. Um, okay, Ian. Fighting Bear, I'm not. I'm about to time you out. What? I hope I'm not gay. Um, Ian, you see, you couldn't see me here. I'm not going to fake laugh for you, but you still see the smile on my face. It's real laughter. You do make me laugh, Ian. And the comments of Fighting Bear confused me, so I found that interesting too. I don't like the gay talk. I'm not about, I really don't enjoy phallic discussions or gay anything. I want to, I am homophobic. I'm not homo, it's not a fear, it's an aversion. What's the Greek term for aversion? Um, it's not a phobia. I guess phobia is defined by avoidance, but that's a classical definition, and it's best understood, or it's colloquially understood as a fear. Anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder. Does homosexuality give me anxiety? No, it gives me upset stomach, disgust, um, and I don't want to dwell anywhere near or anything about it. Yeah. Anyway, we do usually have a lot more people here. I don't have a clue what's been going on with the numbers, and I don't know if Nose Job is still here, but just in case. At once I came under the Holy Spirit's power, and behold, a throne stood in heaven, with one seated on the throne, and he who sat there appeared like the crystalline brightness of jasper, and the fiery sardius, and encircling the throne There was a halo that looked like a rainbow of emerald. This is just beautiful, amazing description, just profound. 24 other thrones surrounded the throne. Guys, 24 thrones. And seated on these thrones were 24 elders, the members of the heavenly Sanhedrin, arrayed in white clothing, with crowns of gold upon their heads. Out from the throne came flashes of light and rumblings and peals of thunder, and in front of the throne 7 blazing torches burned, which are the 7 spirits of God, the sevenfold Holy Spirit. What in the name? What? It's a whole can of worms. The sevenfold. Oh my gosh. Forgot about that. Guys, that's intense. That's intense stuff. Thanks, Nose Job Bear, for having me read some of that. I don't know if you're. Let me. I'll just speak about it in a. What is it? The word pedantic? I don't know. Um, Let me just say this. Um, the word rapture is a word that was made to describe an event that's described in the Bible. Okay, so the word rapture obviously doesn't appear in the Bible. Neither does the word Trinity. Neither of those things are don't that doesn't mean anything, but you'll oftentimes hear people say the rapture isn't a thing because it's not in the Bible, or the Trinity isn't real because it's not even in the Bible. Um, there's a lot of bad thinking and bad logic in those statements because the concept you have to define your terms. You have to well, what does rapture mean? Okay, it means taking up in the clouds. Does it say anything about that in the Bible? Yes, it does. Okay, so it's just a word to describe an event. It's as simple as that. Same thing with the Trinity, which continues to be a topic of discussion that uh, is terrible. It's terrible. There's a lot of people, well-respected people, that are disrespecting and blaspheming, and misrepresenting God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, the whole works, misrepresenting terribly, based on either willful ignorance or misunderstanding. Like I said, probably 3 or 4 times already, of of the whole scope of things. Did you watch the? Were you there, Fighting Bear, for the Christmas stream that I did last Friday? We did a Christmas stream. I thought you were there. Um, so what's going on? Veteran of many meme wars. Okay, I hear you. No, it doesn't. When there's more people here, it's a better Bible study stream. Sometimes. Um, can I do a stream on? I could. I could do a stream. Um, you want to know something that happened? Um, oh, okay, Fighting Bear. I got you. Okay, I understand. Gotcha. Um, my dad is 100% on the rapture, and I'm 100% all alive, go through the times they are present for. Here's where I stand as far as all of that goes. And just keep reading. It's fine. Just keep learning. It's fine. Um, hey, Waterloo Bear. Welcome. Um, yeah, it's funny when people left to go watch Owen. I don't know how many of those people made it back to my stream. but it's all good. It's not a big deal at all. Um, Thanks for the lemons and ice cream and stuff. It's I basically I don't know if I'm gonna hoard them or I just I like to redistribute them out to other people that I watch from time to time. But anyway, here's what I was gonna say. On one hand, my Hebrew professor, whom I highly respected, claimed that it was heresy, downright sacrilege, to claim that we would be raptured before any tribulation. There's mid-trib, there's post-trib, there's amillennial, there's post-millennial. There's all these different perspectives and theories about how the end times will play out. We have factually, emphatically, the words of Jesus regarding how our lives will be if we follow him, and that it is nearly or downright necessary to suffer as he suffered. Now, if somebody makes it through their whole life never suffering, does that mean that they were never actually a follower of Christ? I don't know. I don't. I would hope that that wasn't the like. I don't. I don't think that it's justifiable to say that suffering is the litmus test for whether or not you're saved, just as much as blessings are definitely not a litmus test for whether or not you're saved. Um, so, all that being said, ask questions. Questions are great. What? So this is a good question. What what verse and or collection of verses causes you to think that Christians won't be subjected to tribulation? So that's one question. Here's another question. This is a good one. This is even better. Is there any reason to believe, based on Scripture, that there may be Christians present during the tribulation? Why is that a better question? Because it gets them to think. And if they say no, you say, you're wrong. Um, uh, Sorry. Sometimes I just don't feel like sneezing and I fight it. Um, so, anyway, I think that's the better question because it gets them to look at the Bible. And you say, if they say no, there's nothing that indicates that Christians would be part of the tribulation. And then you walk them through the verses. It's simple. Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. Anyway, what's going on in the chat? I just looked at my comments on your Christmas vid, and my head hurts now. That's what I thought. I thought that you commented on my Christmas video. You, you forgot. You forgot that you watched my video. It's hilarious. If you put aside worldly things and you do not suffer, I don't know. There is great suffering. Oddly enough, most that are smile a lot. You lost me a little bit there. You lost me a little bit there. Okay. It's interesting that Chevs and Gaucho hardly said anything, but they gave me ice cream and lemons. I just thought that was kind of weird. It's all good though. It's time. It's 10. I'm yawning. Um, Fighting Bear, you wanted me to do a stream on Saturnalia, possibly. We talked about Saturnalia and Yule and Mithra and all that stuff. And I think that, honestly, honestly, I'm about to cut my tongue out. Give me just a moment. I don't have a knife. Why don't I have a knife? I want to jump down the stairs head first. I hate it when I violate my own pet peeves. Colloquialisms, guys, they're sneaky as all get out, I'll tell you what. I despise. Now, granted, I didn't say, I'll be honest. I didn't say that. But honestly is just as bad. It's just as bad. I may as well put on a tiny, tiny hat. Where's a tiny hat? Here. It's perfect. You know what this is. I may as well. Here, I'll put it up here. Can you see that? Look at my tiny, tiny hat. So here, I'll put it in the proper spot. I don't know if it'll. Nope, that did not. It didn't stay. It's not got the special something something. There we go. It's there. Honestly, guys, to be honest, I just hate the phrase. I think it's the worst. I think it's just the worst. I really do. So I apologize and I repent for saying the word honestly. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. I wholeheartedly believe in just speaking, and yeah, I hate that phrase. Ugh. Anyway, what's going on? You forgot to follow me. Well, you probably followed first on or subscribed on YouTube, so it's all good. Too many blows to the head makes one forget. I don't know. I don't know. And now I lost complete track. I completely forgot the topic that I was talking about. Any help? This is the consequence of or consequence. This is the nature of the personality type. It really is. I'm also very I feel like you did I feel like that was very trolly of you there, Fighting Bear. Because I'm not sure how yeah, I know the rapture topic. Here's where I land with that. Are you doing what you were told to do? Are you learn, read Revelation, learn from the lessons there, there within. Are you working in the fields? Are you waiting for the bridegroom? These are the simple, just simple child. Here's the thing. If you start to go, oh, it's apparently we've been in the end times for thousands of years. So, I mean, it's not like, okay, thief in the night, work in the fields, wait patiently for the bridegroom and proactively, I might add, proactively. Oil. Are you getting what I'm putting down? That's the point. The point is not when the rapture would happen. That's not the point because it's not even relevant. What's relevant is, are you being obedient? Are you being obedient to the commands of God? Does this link back into the topic of tonight? Somewhat. Somewhat. Like I said, abolish pornography in your life, abolish abortion in your life, abolish sodomy in your life. Study the laws of God. The laws of God are good. They're good. Look at look and understand about the difference between laws and standards. There is a difference between laws and standards, but also understand what is good. The Bible's pretty clear on this stuff. Yeah, I don't watch Alex Jones. I I've probably accumulated a total of about, I don't know, 45 minutes. I've watched Joe Rogan for a total of maybe 10 minutes in my entire life, and I have watched Alex Jones for possibly a total of 45 minutes in my entire life. Um, I don't even really like Molyneux, but I've watched probably, I don't know, somewhere between 8 and 12 hours of Molyneux. I've watched almost, I don't know, 75% of Devin Stack Black Pilled's videos. I just don't care about Rogan, Molyneux. It really disappoints me that Devin Stack is not a Christian. I pray for him, literally. Um, I know that he grew up in an alleged Christian household, so I know that he knows some stuff, but I really pray that Devin Stack Black Pilled truly like acknowledges who Jesus is, and it's the Spirit that calls him. So I do pray that he's led to be saved. It's rough. I mean, Devin Stack with what he does with Black Pilled would be a a beautiful thing when you combine. He might even change his name to White Pilled for goodness sake. He might include all of the necessary gravy that he does with our hope being in Christ. And I mean, that would obviously be a beautiful combination. Um, yeah, I know. And it's also funny when Owen says that he's retarded, just a retarded guy. It's kind of funny because he's also a 147, which Ian Bear Pig probably knows that I've talked about my IQ before too. I used to say that I had the same IQ as Owen, but I was 12 inches shorter, which is a fact. But I know, I know, because Devin Stack really understands a whole lot, and I think that if he better understood faith and hope and identity in Christ, that combined with his based knowledge of evil in this world, he would, I think he would more than likely be more in, is the word emboldened? I feel like I just made that up. I feel like he would be strengthened by hope, by placing his hope in Christ. He would be stronger for it, not weaker. I really believe that that would be the case. He would take all of his knowledge about the evil and he would be that much more adamant about what our responsibility is as Christians. Be good stuff. We need more people like that on the team, so to speak. Anyway, is that the dude that did the "No One Will Remember You" vid? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But that's not the best. He did a really good Pizzagate video. He did a good video on Office Space. He often does commentary on movies, sometimes topics. Um, man, he's a really excellent. He's one of the best social commentators apart from Owen. Um, Owen's just like a gravy machine that jumps all over the place, but with there's a handful of really just quality gravy machines. No, dude, like Devin Stack knows about God, and I'm pretty sure he's a theist. I think that it's, I think what happens is certain people that aren't yet ready or haven't been called, so to speak, to follow Christ is because they're still holding on to something that they think they can't let go of. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is like a man that sees a treasure in a field, sells everything that he has to buy the field so that he can get the treasure. The point is, it's just like the rich young ruler, so on and so on. There's a lot of parables, there's a lot of stories uh, that demonstrate this. And the point is, there's a lot of people that are still holding on to something. And this also, I like to do this. This also ties into the main topic. Aboleo, Turpia, or Turpio, I can't even remember at this point. Scripta, abolish abortion, definitely do that, but abolish pornography. Um, Jason from Crow is piloting a ship through gravity. I actually have still yet to watch Crow 77, but I will. I will. Um, but what I'm trying to say is that these people that have tons of base knowledge, red pill, whatever, and they're yet not Christians yet, it does have to do with the fact that they're holding on to something they don't want to let go of that they believe defines them or they believe provides value in their life because they haven't learned and they have not acknowledged where all good things come from. And I could probably talk about that for hours, but it's sad. We need to pray for those people. He is outside of, I like Crow a lot. He is outside of grace. He is very real, but stuck though. Gotcha. Some don't make it known online though. Yeah, I think I'm 99% certain that Devin Stack has talked about being agnostic of some version of agnostic, which is really absurd if you think about it. But anyway, it's all good. We've gone on so many tangents, but I tried to bring it back around, bring it back around. All right, so according to this, which makes no sense, I'm going to close this and reopen it because for some reason the restream chat told me 4 plus 4. It's oh, now it says 8 only, all 8, just in D Live. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. No, Ian, you're right. I mean, that's rough. I forgot about that. I thought, well, I take back what I said about him being raised in a Christian environment. Obviously not. Yeah, I've got a friend that I say friend, I've got an acquaintance, I should say, that's a Jehovah's Witness, and it's brutal because they have been completely programmed to deny the divinity of Jesus, thanks to their Luciferian Freemason founder. But anyway, I'm gonna head to bed now. It's time. It's time to give our guns to literally Hitler. You guys know what I'm talking about. Trying to see what was going on. There's a lot of OG bears though. Int Bear is definitely one of them. I've never had a direct conversation with Int Bear, but I have been where Int Bear is for like almost a year. It's just kind of funny. Int Bear has been around, and now Int Bear is super active. It's just kind of funny to see Int Bear's ENT, Int Bear. It's just kind of funny to see their name. Anyone know how long it takes to get a letter to get to Owen? You don't understand how the USPS works, Highlands Bear? I'm just looking at Owen's chat. I think it's kind of funny. Hey, Italian Bear, what's going on, man? I haven't seen your name, but what's up? It's good stuff. I like to see new people up in here. Uh, he doesn't prescribe to God or Christ. Thoughts on Navy SEALs? Italian Bear, you want to ask a non military person about what I think of Navy SEALs. I know nothing about Navy SEALs. I have never met one. They have a fantastic reputation, uh, and that's all I know. I heard that Navy SEALs. Um, wait, who's talking about? I thought he was a Christian. Oh no, Devin Stack? No, no, he doesn't claim to be, from what I've heard. Uh, but yeah, Navy SEALs have a fantastic reputation. I heard that they die. They get killed in basic briefly and come back to life. Oh, Crow, I got you. I don't know anything about Crow, but I'll watch his stuff sometime soon because I'm interested. I don't know if you guys got to hear me swishing my water, but that was fun. All right, it is time, and I said that several times, but I enjoyed this. I think it was good. I think it was productive. I pray that the right people continue to seek the truth. The people that are saying that we shouldn't make porn illegal. How many Rogans am I? Not enough. Uh, I'm pretty short, but I make up for it in intellect, and even better than that, my value comes from Christ, not from my height. So, but let me look up the Rogan height calculator because I know that's important. I think that's what it's called. Nope, that's not the right one. Maybe it is. No, no, no. There's a troll website, roganheightcalculator.com. Don't go there. It tries to hijack your computer. Don't go there at all. I forgot the website name. Um, Rogan height calculator. I see. I thought that was the name, but it's trying to ask me to add this stuff to Chrome. I'm not doing any of that nonsense. That's not it. Maybe their website was hijacked. I thought it was RoganHeightCalculator.com, but that website is not functioning properly. Rogan Height Converter. Thank you. RoganHeightConverter.com unexpectedly closed the connection. Site cannot be reached. Reload. It's not functional. Um, there's a lot of fake websites. JoeRoganHeightConverter.com. I mean, and it goes to like some nonsense thing. This has gotten so popular that they're actually making fake websites trying to trick bears into, I guess. I am taller than Joe Rogan, but only by an inch, according to the alleged 5'7". Um, alleged. I understand that he's only 2.3 inches or something like that, but I can't find the website. I don't know why in the world. I'm wasting time. I need to go to bed. This is insanity. Um, yeah, I'm pretty much this. I'm about 5'8". 3.3 inches. Okay, gotcha. Um, about 5'7" and a half, 5'8". But I'm actually I don't know. I feel pretty short. Most of the time. It doesn't matter though. Yeah, 5'8" with my work boots on. There you go. All right. Good night, everybody. But more importantly than good night, love the Lord your God with all your mind, soul, strength, and heart.